This is the story of a little girl and a giant red dog who becomes her best friend. If you're a true dog lover, this is one adventure you're not going to want to miss. The story begins in an old abandoned house where a family of puppies lives with their mom. Among them, there's one tiny, adorable red puppy. They were living happily until one day, dog catchers arrived. They captured all the dogs but completely ignored the little red puppy. They shut the gate and left. The poor red puppy tried his best to escape, but nothing worked. Next, we meet Emily, a young girl who's often bullied at school. She studies on a scholarship, and because of that, her classmates think she's poor and make fun of her every day. After school, Emily returns home, where her mom tells her she has to leave the city for work. So until she comes back, Emily must stay with her uncle Casey. But Emily refuses. Why? Because Casey is a careless guy who lives in a small van and keeps failing at finding a job. Everyone knows he's irresponsible, and nobody trusts him. Meanwhile, we see the little red puppy again. He finally escapes the locked room and runs all over the city looking for food. Hungry and desperate, he even tries to steal food from pigeons. That's when an old man named Mr. Bridwell notices him and gently takes the puppy with him. On the other side of the city, Emily is upset because her mom already called Casey home. Now she's stuck with him until her mom returns. The next morning, while Casey is walking Emily to school, they spot a rescue tent for abandoned animals. It belongs to no one other than Mr. Bridwell, the same man who saved the red puppy. Emily loves animals, and she has always dreamed of having a pet of her own, so she drags Casey inside the tent. At first, Casey refuses, but Emily keeps insisting, and he finally gives in. Inside, Emily sees many beautiful animals, but the moment she sees the little red puppy, she instantly falls in love. She wants to take him home, but Casey stops her, explaining that their landlord strictly forbids pets in the building. With no choice, Casey takes her away. At school again, Emily gets bullied just like every day. This time, her best friend Owen tries to cheer her up, telling her not to care about mean people. But minutes later, Emily's bag full of cans breaks in class, and everyone laughs at her again. Humiliated and sad, Emily walks home quietly and locks herself in her room without speaking to Casey. Thinking about the painful day, she suddenly remembers the red puppy. She searches online for him, but then her backpack starts moving. She opens it, and there he is, the same little red puppy from Mr. Bridwell's tent. Emily's sadness melts away instantly. She hugs him with joy and names him Clifford. Emily steps out of her room to get some food for the little red puppy. While she's gone, the puppy sneaks out too, and Uncle Casey spots him. Casey immediately tells Emily to get the dog out of the house, but Emily begs him to let the puppy stay. After a lot of pleading, Casey finally agrees, but only on one condition. Emily's mom can't find out about this. Not a word. Soon after, a video of Emily being bullied at school goes viral. Heartbroken, she whispers that she wishes she were braver and wishes Clifford was a big, strong dog, so neither of them would ever have to be scared again. Holding that thought, she falls asleep beside Clifford. The next morning, when Emily wakes up, she can't believe her eyes. Clifford has turned into a giant dog. Emily is completely shocked, not understanding how any of this happened. She runs to Casey to tell him, but Casey doesn't take her seriously until he walks out and sees Clifford for himself. He panics, screaming and running for his life, while Clifford just tries to play with him. Emily calms him down, explaining that despite his giant size, Clifford is still just a little puppy on the inside. Right then, Emily's mom calls. Casey freaks out and ends the call quickly, saying, "Everything's fine." Before they can think of what to do next, their landlord unexpectedly shows up to fix the building's pipelines. Emily and Casey quickly hide Clifford in her bedroom, because if the landlord finds out, they're in big trouble. After barely managing to keep Clifford hidden, Casey tells Emily they need to return Clifford to Mr. Bridwell immediately. But Emily disagrees. She's convinced something is wrong with Clifford. Some kind of medical issue must be making him grow. She insists they take him to a vet instead. Once again, Casey refuses, and once again, Emily's persistence wins. They leave home, trying to secretly take Clifford to the animal hospital. On the way, they run into Emily's friend Owen, who is terrified at first sight of Clifford, but soon he joins Team Clifford. Before they can load Clifford into Casey's van, Clifford sees a giant exercise ball in the park and runs after it. The chase grabs everyone's attention, and now the whole city knows about the giant red dog. Meanwhile, we meet Zach, a businessman who has spent years trying to invent a growth formula. His research has failed, and his company is collapsing fast. Just then, he sees Clifford's viral video online. Zach's eyes light up with a plan. If he can convince investors that Clifford grew because of his formula, then they'll pour money back into his company, and all his financial problems will be solved. The doctor says there is no disease. Clifford is completely fine. The hospital receptionist adds, the only person who might know the truth is Mr. Bridwell. Emily and Casey want to meet him immediately, but they don't have his address. Suddenly, Emily remembers. Bridwell once visited her school, so his address might be on the guest list. With new hope, they rush straight to her school. They finally manage to copy Mr. Bridwell's address into a flash drive. Meanwhile, in the cafeteria, Emily is grabbing loads of food for Clifford. Suddenly, her classmates show up and start bullying her again. But just then, Clifford appears at the school, following Emily. When the students realize this giant red dog is her pet, their attitude changes completely. Everyone is impressed, and for the first time ever, Emily feels confident enough to stand up for herself. She finally stands up to the bullies, and it feels amazing. Emily, Casey, Owen, and Clifford head back home, only to see their apartment sealed by the landlord. Why? Because Zach had shown him Clifford's photo, proving that Emily kept a pet despite the rules. Angry and frustrated, the landlord shuts down their home. Just then, their neighbor slips from the building while trying to fix his satellite dish. Before he falls, Clifford rushes in and saves him. Everyone cheers for Clifford. Impressed, the neighbor lets them use his laptop. Owen checks the file from school and finds out that Mr. Bridwell will be at the hospital tomorrow for treatment. Before they can leave, Zach shows up. He lies, claiming Clifford is his experimental dog who grew because of his special formula. But Emily tells him Clifford has been with her since he was tiny. Realizing he can't convince them, Zach's assistant secretly injects a tracking chip into Clifford's body. With that chip, Zach can legally claim Clifford as his property. Emily sees this happen and shouts for Clifford to run. She manages to escape with Clifford and Owen. They reach Casey's van, while Casey is still fighting off Zach's guards outside. Emily has no choice but to drive the van herself. That's when Emily's mom calls again, asking if everything is fine. Casey lies once more. Everything's totally fine. Suddenly, Clifford swallows Owen's tiny puppy. Everyone screams in horror, but a few seconds later, Clifford spits the puppy back out safely. They quickly give Clifford food so he doesn't try eating anything else. Meanwhile, Zach convinces a police inspector that Clifford is his experimental animal. He warns that if Clifford doesn't get treated soon, a disease could spread across the city. Terrified by the false story, the police announce a reward for anyone who captures Clifford. Back at Owen's house, Owen suggests they send Clifford to his dad's private safari park in Korea, where the giant dog would be safe. Emily doesn't want to be separated from Clifford, but Casey explains, "If we find Mr. Bridwell, we'll take Clifford to him." Sometimes loving someone means doing what's right for them. Heartbroken, Emily agrees. The next day, Emily, Casey, and Owen reach the hospital in search of Mr. Bridwell, but they receive heartbreaking news. Bridwell has already passed away. Emily is crushed. With no hope left, she realizes there's only one option now. She must send Clifford away to the safari park. With a heavy heart, Emily watches Clifford being shipped away by boat. Tears fall as Clifford slowly moves farther and farther. Clifford is just as sad, confused, and scared to leave her. The very next morning, they discover the truth. Mr. Bridwell is actually alive. Owen rushes in, excited, explaining that Bridwell has set up a tent in their city again. But before they can celebrate, breaking news flashes. Clifford has been captured on the way and is being taken to Zach's lab for experiments. Without wasting a second, Emily, Casey, Owen, and even their neighbors team up to rescue Clifford. Outside Zach's company, they see him lying to investors, claiming Clifford grew because of his formula, promising them a fortune if they invest again. While a few neighbors distract Zach, Emily and the others sneak into the lab. Inside, they find several animals locked up for experiments. Accidentally, they unlock every cage, setting all the animals free. Deep inside the lab, Emily finally finds Clifford. He's chained down, frightened, waiting for her. The moment he sees Emily, his tail wags wildly with joy. Emily climbs onto Clifford's back and whispers, "Let's go home." Clifford breaks free and races through the city, jumping over barriers, smashing through obstacles, heading straight toward Bridwell's tent. Meanwhile, Casey uses the media to expose Zach's lies to the entire city. "Bridwell," Emily pleads, begging him to make Clifford normal again. But Bridwell refuses. He gently tells her, "I didn't make Clifford big. Your love did. And now only you can protect him." Emily steps forward and gives an emotional speech to the crowd. Everyone deserves a place to live, no matter their size, color, breed, or background. So why doesn't Clifford deserve the same? Why can't he live here, just like anyone else? People look around, realizing she's right. Clifford isn't a threat. He's a part of their community. Right then, Zach storms in with police officers. He demands they scan Clifford, insisting his chip will prove Clifford belongs to him. The officer scans Clifford's body. Nothing. There's no chip, no tracker, no proof. Bridwell had used his magic to remove it. Without the chip, Zach's claim collapses. Clifford legally belongs to Emily. The crowd cheers as Emily hugs her giant red dog with tears of joy. And just like Emily, we all need someone who loves us bigger than the world. Clifford isn't just a dog. He's the friend we wish we had. If you love stories about loyalty, friendship, and giant red dogs, don't leave without hitting subscribe and sharing this with every dog lover you know. Who knows? Your support might help the next big red legend grow.